fair? מבית ומחוץ. Bait is the inside of. Of course, how can you form an inside unless you have a barrier, unless you have something which confines it on all sides? If there is an opening, there is no inside. The inside is something that is surrounded on all sides with a kind of barrier. So naturally, bet comes also to mean a barrier. So a house is derived from the concept of the inside, because if you think of the Aleph, the unity, the one that is all-encompassing, and then you think of the transformation to base, two is already multiplicity. The transformation from 1 to 2 means the introduction of a limit, a barrier, a border. This is 1, here is the second. If you have 1, there is no border, no barrier. If you have 2, there must be a barrier. If there is a barrier, there is a 1. If it is not surrounded, it's not 1, it's part of the whole. So the concept of bet, which is the second letter, and therefore the numerical value of 2, is the formation of 2 from 1. The formation of 2 from 1 is a barrier. A barrier is the inside. So this is the concept of bet, and this is why bet in Hebrew means inside. And not only that bet means inside, but in Hebrew, because bet is inside, then the preposition in Hebrew is not in, or in French, dans, but is be. He is, say, in the room. Room is cheder. Can you read the script? Is there anyone who cannot read the script? Okay, I apologize. It's simply much easier and quicker. I apologize. If you need, please let me know. I'll write it to the block letters, okay? I apologize. In the room.
Block letters?
Block letters.
We are not a democracy here. Okay, but block letters, let me tell you one thing. Block letters mean that I have to skip 30% of the material that I'm going to show you. Okay.
We'll go late. What's the rush?
Okay.
In
the room. Ba cheder. Why bet as the preposition? Because bet means the inside of. So of course it could not be ga cheder or tza cheder. It should be ba, because bet is the word, the letter which means the inside of. So the name of the letter bet makes sense. Now what about gimel? Gimel, ligmol in Hebrew means to give, to endow, to bestow. But we have also lehigamel, to be weaned. We have two different meanings, but it makes sense. Dalet is a door. Of course, one should also ask door. Why door out of all the thousands of objects that surround us? What's the major importance of door, that it serves as one of the 22 building blocks of the universe? So naturally, door stands for the concept, not for an object. Now, one could start thinking, what could the concept of door be? What's the essence of door? Now let me ask you, what do you think is the most important part of the door? I'm sorry, I somehow failed to hear the word which I think is the crucial word. The lock and the key. Let me explain why I think that that's the crucial part. You see, we have a barrier, impenetrable. A barrier divides the space into 1 and 2, or the inside and outside. There is an opening. Here is the opening. Opening permits free exchange. There's no inside anymore. There are no two domains. There's one domain. Now what happens if I insert here, say, kind of drapery? Is it a real barrier? Of course not. You just remove it and it passes. It's an obstacle which simply makes life slightly more difficult. That's all. But what happens if I put here a door? A heavy metal door on very heavy hinges. Is now the situation different? Not at all. I simply kick the door or push it. A door that cannot be locked actually is the same concept as the absence of the door. What if instead of the door there's a heavy chair blocking my way? Does it make any difference? Not really. It's an opening with an obstacle. So I remove the obstacle. A door with the hinges that revolves and so on is merely an obstacle. But a door that is locked and I don't have the key, is there any difference between trying to pass through a locked door and through the wall? Not really. And if I have the key, is there a difference between passing through the door or through an opening? No. So you see, the door represents something which is an intermediate case between a wall and an opening. And since the essence of the door is the lock and the key, it means that I have some kind of criterion. The key is a kind of combination or criteria or permission. You are permitted, here is the key. The key. You are not permitted, you are left out. So I have here a concept which does appear to be a very basic concept. So don't be misled by the simple object like a door or an eye or an ear or a mouth. These objects, the keywords only represent concepts. And indeed, by examining it more closely, one realizes that dalet means the concept of midah, criteria, or din, which means judgment, permission, yes and no. This is a very important concept. Okay? So every letter has a name. Most of the names are immediately obvious to every Hebrew-speaking person. However, some names elude even the scholars. There's one such name which is Nun, the letter Nun. It's very difficult to decipher. Do you know what Nun means? Oh, sorry, it should have been
Kingdom?
Nun. What do you say?
Kingdom in Hebrew? Fish
Kingdom?
in Aramaic?
No. Aramaic, it's fish. But in Hebrew,
It's kingdom, isn't it?
kingdom? No.
No?
No. It's unique. In all the Bible, there's only one word. Nun is the root of the verb yinon. Lifnei shemesh, yinon shmo. Which means eternal existence. Without cessation. Without any disturbance. This is indeed a very important basic concept. Eternal duration without any cessation. Adherence, sorry?
Again, it symbolizes destruction.
Okay. So the first idea then is the name of the letter. The second source is in the oral law. We have in the tractate of Shabbat, page 104, side A, a list of the letters with the meaning. It had been given in Sinai together with all the rest of the details of the forbidden melachot on Shabbat, which appear in the tractate of Shabbat. And here they are, part of the secrets of the language. We have also other midrashim in the oral law. We have a very long midrash, it's called the Letters of Rabbi Akiva. We have in the Zohar Kadosh many allusions to the meaning of the letters. This is the oral law. The last source is in the written Torah, and the idea here is very simple. If you're looking for the keyword of deciphering the meaning of a letter, start from the beginning of the Torah and simply look for the first word that starts with a letter. As easy as this. For example, what is the word that conveys the meaning of the letter bet? Bet. So you have to look, which is the first word in the Torah that starts with bet? Bereshit. No. This is why I chose the example, just to let you know.
Bara.
It's bara. Why? Because Bereshit, the bet is the preposition. As a matter of fact, the word is Reshit. So Reshit starts with Resh. So Reshit is the keyword to understand the letter Resh. This, incidentally, is more or less the same word. So it's not a coincidence. Bara is the source of bet. And so on. All the letters appear at the beginning of the Torah, except one letter. So as I said, the source for all the letters is in the beginning of the Torah, except one letter, which is the Vav. As a matter of fact, there is only one word in Lashon HaKodesh that starts with Vav. Only one, and this is the word Vav, which means a kind of a hook, a physical object that is bent, physically bent, contains an angle, so that it can physically bind together two objects. Vavei Hamudim in the Mishkan, in the Tabernacle, it was used to bind together the Yeriot, the curtains. No, it was not curtains, but I simply don't know the English word for it. And the Amudim. Okay, sorry. I should have done my homework better, but I don't remember the words, or as a matter of fact, I never knew them. So
translate it. Say it in Hebrew, maybe someone will translate it here.
No, you cannot translate it. Either you know the translation or you don't. It's not a matter of linguistics here. Never mind. A hook is simply an object that serves to bind together physical objects. Interestingly, the meaning of the letter Vav, as it appears to be from all the sources, is union, but a very special union. Combination to form a unity of separate entities that belong together. At the highest spiritual level, it is represented in Hebrew by the concept of das. Das is not knowledge, should not be confused with knowledge. Unfortunately, I am at a loss of trying to explain this spiritual concept here in less than half an hour, so with your permission, I'm just going to skip the subject. However, what we find is that at lower levels, the Torah says, "V'davak Adam b'ishto, v'hayu lebasar echad." It's a very special union, physical, spiritual. So this union is called da. Ve'adam yada et chava ishto. We also find that vav is the conjunctive. Why is the letter vav the conjunctive in Hebrew? Because vav is union, combining things together. So at the physical, at the grammatic, syntactical level, vav means the union of concepts by the letter vav. So in English we have and, which of course is very similar to the German und, which you could trace backwards somewhere shrouded in mystery. But in Hebrew we have vav. Adam ve'chava. Adam and Eve. Why ve? Because the vav is this conjunction, this union. And even physically, the object which is called vav is a hook which binds together two objects. This is the vav. Okay, so now we have the access to the meaning of the letters. Please note that it is not a modern theory. Of course, not my own theories or ideas are presented here. It's part of the Torah, in the oral law, in the written Torah. It's part of the language itself. Well, it's almost time to start with the meaning of the Aleph. But we need another half an hour for explaining the root system and the secrets of the perfection of the order. So, let's try. But bli neder, it is quite possible that even before we finish the lecture, we'll discuss the Aleph. Quite conceivable. Unlike the Latin languages, the Hebrew language and the languages that are similar, the Semitic languages like Arabic, Aramaic, are based on root system. The English, which deviated too much from the original Hebrew, unlike Arabic, for example, did not retain even the root system. The root system in Arabic and other languages is very partial, very distorted, but still it retains some of the basic, very, very fantastic concepts. Now, it may sound very simple. Let's start with simple demonstration. Let's compare the word grow, big. Can you see any similarity between, say, grow, big, grandeur, tumor, crop, magnify, tower, and I forgot great? Can you see any resemblance here in the language itself? Sure not. Great, maybe great, grow, with a kvetch, like we say. Great, grow, big, grandeur, tumor, crop, magnify, and tower. Now forget the language. Look at the concept. Can you see any similarity here?
Right.
Give me a definition that encompasses all the words. I forgot large. How could I? Yes, thank you very much. It was large also. Okay, give me a definition. Three, 4 words that encompass all of them.
Expansion.
Good, but expansion. Okay. Stretching. Strength. Strength. Well, I pay to see the strength here, especially in crop and tumor, possibly also in grandeur, which does not necessarily involve strength. But I believe that expansion fits somehow. Think of something which expands beyond the standard, beyond the norm. Something that outgrows the norm. Can you see that it puts all of them in one category? In Hebrew, 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you for the next column. Good. I like it. Thank you. In Hebrew, there's one word for all of them. ג'